Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Africa Theatre Podcast. My name is Sitara Namwali, and today we're talking to Kevin Kimani Kahuro. Now, Kevin is a very interesting young man. Kevin started with incredible audacity the Kenya International Theatre Festival. And then he's followed that up with the Kenya Theatre Awards. Yes. Kevin looks like a businessman. You actually look like a businessman sitting here. And I would have expected you to be in business, some sort of business. And yet you have chosen this field of supporting theatre, something that we desperately need. So we're going to begin at the beginning.
Yes.
I want you to tell us a little bit about your background, how you grew up, the schools you went to. Let's begin there.
Yes. Thank you very much for having me. I'm honored to be on this platform and to speak to such a theater icon. It's such an honor. Yes, so Kevin Kimani Kahuro is a young man born on the 5th of October in 1989. My mother tells me I was born in Nairobi.
Okay.
But I'm brought up in Kiambu County.
Okay.
I went to school in Limuru. That's where my dad comes from. So I went to primary school in a school called Manguo Primary School.
Okay.
And then I didn't pass, surprisingly, in my KCPE.
Okay.
I scored very lowly. I scored 240 out of 500. So there was a lot of,
people don't often reveal that, so that's impressive that you're revealing it.
Yes. So I went into a day school, into my mother's. I went to stay with my grandfather, my grandfather and grandmother from my mother's side.
Okay.
So I went into a day school. It's called Riara Secondary School. There was a lot of discussion whether I should repeat, whether I should not repeat. But eventually it was settled that let me just go into a day school, and then I start discovering myself from there. So I went into that school for the Form 1 and Form 2 up to second term. But then I told my mom I needed a new challenge.
Right.
Because I was becoming number 2 with a C plane or C plus.
So you went from not doing well in the national exams, primary exams at the end of primary school, and now you go to a day school and you're doing well.
Yes.
And you're doing too well for yourself, right?
I'm trying. You see what happened is that where we were staying, when we were doing our KCPE, we were 3 of us. We were 3 candidates.
Yes.
So one of them got 350, went to Kijabe School. The other one got 310 or thereabout, went to Kamboi Girls. So on this, I'm now being a laughing stock. I'm being mocked. Okay. So that really worked for me.
Okay.
So I said, my dad told me, let that not stop you.
Okay.
Let it propel you to the next level.
Oh, great. So your parents were actually very encouraging.
Yes.
Usually then very many parents are not.
They were very encouraging. So I go to this school, I'm doing well. So I told my mom I need a new challenge. She did everything she could.
Okay.
She tells me she actually wrote her a letter. Because I saw if I tell her, she might not take it seriously.
Okay.
So I wrote her a letter. I gave one of my uncles who was staying in Limuru where my mom was. So I told him, this is a letter from my mom and it's not from me. It's somebody who has given her. So she took it. I think when she read it, she took it very seriously.
Okay.
So she looked for a school in Githunguri called Komodhai Boys.
Okay.
Now I was admitted into this boarding school in Form 2 third term.
Wow, that's third term.
Yes.
The end of
of Form 2.
Yeah.
So it was a big challenge because I found them finishing book 2 and the school we were finishing book 1 in almost all the subjects.
Right.
So I took the next 2 years to work so hard, and I eventually scored a B plus
in
my
phenomenal.
KCSE.
Oh my.
And then I got now the opportunity to go to university.
Right.
Yes.
And where did you go to university?
Kenyatta University.
Okay. Excellent.
When we were doing our selection, we used to stay 2 years before we joined university, and that was my first encounter with with theater.
Okay.
When I was growing up, I was very interested in drama. So I used to go to church drama, perform. Even when I'm in this day school, I was approached by a church. I'm Catholic, so I was approached by ACK to be part of their church competition.
Great.
But then when my mom learned about it, and my grandfather and my grandparents, they said, no, you these are the things that disrupt you from school.
Right.
So don't do it. Concentrate on school.
Right.
But I was so passionate. I kept on doing it.
Yes.
And then the national were happening when I was in holiday, and I happened to be in Limuru.
Okay.
So I went to
These are national
for the ACK church competition.
The church competition, theater,
Yes,
theater, and
yes,
music and everything.
yes.
Right.
So I went to town. I knew my mother's phone number. I called her. I told her I'm a teacher at the school and I'm needed at school. So I need to travel that day if possible. So my mom, so I went back home. I've just spoken to her on phone. I faked my voice and all that.
Okay, so you faked your voice and you pretended that you were the teacher.
Yes.
And that the school needed you.
Yes.
To perform somewhere.
Yes.
Okay.
To be in school.
To be in school.
To be in school to attend a function.
Okay.
Yes. So this is how I managed to go back to my grandmother's place. And when I arrived, this church was waiting for me, and we traveled to Mbere.
Okay.
For the competition.
Another part of Kenya.
Yes, another part of Kenya. Yeah, I was in Form 1.
Okay.
So that there was a lot of that. So when I finished high school, we came to the National Theatre to watch set books.
Right.
And I was so intrigued by how all this thing was done. And I talked to one of the guys, told me, once you finish school, just come here.
So the set book, just to explain, is that the curriculum has certain books.
Yes.
In literature books that you study.
Yes, absolutely.
And then there's a theatre company that would help the students.
Yes.
By creating plays out of those set books. And then the students would go and watch to help them with literature and understanding. And it could be, what were the set books at your time?
Merchant of Venice,
right.
Kifo Kisimani, Mayai Waziri wa Marathi. I think those. Can I remember another one?
So a combination of of set books that are written by Kenyans as well as I've heard
Merchant of Venice by Shakespeare. Right. Yes. Okay. So I watch this performer. I'm intrigued. So I speak to one of the actors. He was called Young. I lost touch with Young. So he told me, once you finish, just come to the theater, ask for Young. People know me.
Okay.
So I'm in Form 4. So I finished my exam on Tuesday.
Yes.
And on Thursday I told my mom, no, I need to go to the theater. I need to act. I need to do this. She gave me fare. She supported me. I came to the National Theater. I asked for Young. And Vula, I was told, you see the guy seated there? That is Young. Go and talk to him. So I spoke to Young. He introduced me. He told me about set books. He introduced me to Jicho 4. He introduced me to Fanaka.
These are theater companies.
Other theater companies now with opportunities for auditions. Right. So I went to one audition. They told us that they were not taking Form 4 leavers.
Right.
Immediate Form 4 leavers. But then I went to Jicho 4. I was selected. And then I got now an opportunity to work with Jicho 4 for 2 years before I joined campus.
So this demeanor of yours, in which you look like a businessman,
yes,
is very misleading. I'm hearing a really passionate person, passionate about theatre,
yes,
who has done everything, including dupe their mother. To achieve their dream. These are the stories that actually make make a person.
Absolutely. Yes.
That's really interesting.
Yes.
Wow. So I want us now to, so you spent 2 years actually being an actor.
Yes.
Right? As a very young person.
Yes.
And then you say you went back, now you went on
I went to university, yes.
And what did you go and study?
I went to study theatre arts and film.
Theatre and film.
Yes, I went to study at Kenyatta University. Right. So these 2 years have given me a different perspective. I've seen this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So even when I'm selecting and I have people saying I have a B+, this guy is, what course are you applying? Because when we went for selection, it was called Creative Arts.
Right.
At KU. They hadn't established...
At KU meaning
Kenyatta University. They hadn't established the Department of Theatre and Film. So it was the department, there was a course called Creative Arts. Right. So I said, this is what I want to do.
And you've got a B+. And by the way, in Kenya, a B+ is very highly rated.
Yes.
And you're supposed to do something serious.
Yes.
You're
supposed
law,
to be
something.
You get. So I am determined.
Right.
And luckily, my parents never asked me a question. Right. So they were supportive. So they saw that this guy is passionate and this is his line. So and they gave me that freedom. So I selected and I was admitted to do theatre arts and film. I was so excited. So in my 2 years after immediately after my first term, that is 2008 January to March, I was the youngest member of the cast in this company called theatre company called G4. We again performing set books.
Right.
So I was appointed to be the stage manager.
Right.
And that's now where the management in the arts element started to creep in.
Okay.
So for the next 2 years, I've been a stage manager. So I'm the youngest, but in charge of people who are even older than me. So they are guiding me. We are learning together. And that's now where all this now started now to take shape.
So you left acting and now went into stage management and then the production aspects, etc.
Yes.
How did that make you feel? Was there any resistance on your part?
I was still acting. So I was doing
you were doing the two things.
I'm still acting, but now I've been given an extra responsibility.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So I'm still doing the two at this time. So I dropped all of that and went to campus.
Okay.
And then at university now I started again working. I found that Kenyatta University was not taking part in the drama festivals.
Right.
Yet almost everyone who is involved in drama festival has some roots with Kenyatta University.
So one of the big things that exists in Kenya is that there's a drama festival.
Yes.
An annual drama festival for schools.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And you can just say a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so this is it hosts schools, colleges and universities.
Right.
So I go to the Kenyatta University, found that there is no team. The university does not take part in this festival. So I talked to a few people. We started the club. We spoke with the chairman of the department. He agreed to support, and then that's how I initiated that club at the university. So from I've joined university in 2009.
Right.
But in 2010 I went as a student.
Yes.
The festival, the national festival was happening in Kisumu.
Right.
So I saw we need to take part as a university the following year. So that's how I initiated that. So from 2011 we started taking part. Again, I was the lead and the chairman could guide me. We could write budgets. I could follow up with the university, select people who call for people to submit their script. We select script because it was purely student led.
Right.
Yes. And that's also how now this management of the art is developing.
Right. So your skills of managing the art is developing.
It's developing.
You know, the festivals.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. Being part of now learning how the intricacies. Now because there is no patron, I'm also being sent in patrons meetings.
Right.
So I'm
for the national
for other universities. Yes, for other universities. So I'm going there, I'm meeting, I'm going to the national office for the drama festival to register the university. I am seeing the processes that are being followed. Yes, and that's how now all this came together.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
That is an amazing story.
Yes.
You know, really, really I have interacted with you on many occasions. And I've never sat down. We've never sat down and talked about this. And I'm always so amazed at what makes people, the stories that they have.
Yes.
That will tell us and guide us to understand why they are the way they are and where they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let us move on. And now you have finished university.
Yes.
Successfully.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Continue from there.
So when I was finishing university, remember we were doing two courses. We were doing 2 courses in one. We're doing theater arts and film. So I evaluate and look at I'm in 4th year.
Yes.
I ask myself, I'm finishing, where am I going?
Right.
What am I going to do? Reality hits me
Reality
now.
hits and
Yes, I'm
and
going
those
out.
people who are telling you that maybe you should have done accounting or whatever,
You get.
it's beginning to maybe make sense.
Yes,
Because the opportunities in the creative industry in Kenya and in 2011,
this is 2013 now.
2013 are still not that many.
Yes. So I'm asking myself, what am I going to do? So this question I ask, I explore the film industry, I look at the theater industry. I see a lot of, out of like 20 students, close to 15 are inclined to the film industry. So I already see competition. I already see, they will all go to the same place. What will set us aside?
Exactly.
So, and again, as a student, I've enjoyed a lot of benefits. I've networked. And then I am seeing now, I won't be able to network with these people if I don't have any role. Because now I won't be there as a student.
Right.
So I evaluated and decided, no, I'll finish, but I'll start my master's immediately.
Okay.
So that then I can be, when I'm going even to negotiate, when I'm going to meetings, I have an extra.
Exactly. You've got more gravitas.
Yes.
Simply because you've got a master's.
Yes.
Exactly.
So that's how I started my master's. So but again, it took time. I graduated in 2019 with my master's, because now, as I was doing my master's, I started a lot of things.
Right. And
in the last year of taking part in drama festival, just before I graduated,
yes,
we went for the drama festivals. This is 2013,
yes,
in Mombasa. And then I saw we had prepared something good. Remember, we are theater students.
Yes.
So there are things we've learned, Stanislavski techniques, writing things. So we've infused all this in our production, and then it is not well received by the festival, by the competition.
Right.
We do not hit the expectations that we had personally.
Yes.
So I felt there needs to be a bigger stage apart from this competitive festival that then is able to appreciate what people are doing.
Why do you think that what you had created was not well received?
Because it is a competition.
Okay.
So it was not ranked.
Okay.
It did not appear anywhere
in
any of these awards.
Right.
Yet we feel we've done a lot.
You felt it was better than the others that were ranked?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Sort of, somehow. But I also felt that the process in which it was adjudicated was not fair. The entire process. The people who have adjudicated it, they did not understand what we were doing.
Okay.
We've put things together based on research, So I felt, no, the festival is good.
Right.
We've explored it to the maximum.
Right.
Now we need another platform.
Exactly.
And now that's where the idea of the Kenya International Theatre Festival started to cook. Now what else? Which other platform can we have?
Right.
Is there any other festival in this country that is not competitive that we can take our piece and talk about the process that we have taken to produce this piece?
Right.
And that's now I looked, there was nothing. So I started thinking, now what else? What platform can?
You know what is so interesting about your festival? For me, it's a small world, right?
Yes.
So Mumbi Kaigwa, who I just interviewed, and I were in Egypt. Yes. Mumbi had been invited to go to Egypt because her work had been recognized by the Egyptian government, and she was to receive an award, and I was they sent me a letter saying, for your continuing, in recognition of your continuing contribution to the theater, right? So we were both there, and it was a wonderful time, and it was a big festival. It's the Cairo Experimental International Theatre Festival.
Yes.
And then some of the people that we knew there Roberta Levito, etc., started to talk about a festival your festival,
Yes.
and asking us about it, and we said we'd never heard about it.
Yes.
You know,
I remember us having that conversation.
right? And we said we'd never heard about
Yes.
it, and they were, you know. So you know what? I'm just bringing that up because of how interesting it is that it started then.
Yes.
We got a sense of it when we were out of the country, and today it is the biggest. It's the only theatre festival in Kenya, and growing.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So you were telling me about its beginnings.
Yes, so this is 2013 and I've started conceptualizing. Now I'm looking for people to work with.
Right.
As a student, we had also started a film festival when we were in campus. It was called Filamu International Student Festival. So Filamu standing in for film. So we started this festival as 4 guys. It was the first student film festival in Africa.
Right.
But the way in which we managed it as 4 young guys who are still in campus with lack of experience, we were not successful.
Okay.
It only went to 2 editions.
Right.
So I had learned from those mistakes.
So you learned from that, yes.
So I'd said, this one, we cannot do it in the same formula that we did it. So I started looking for people who can mentors, who can be able to shape this idea and help me take it to the next level and not for it to die like this other student festival that we started. So I started looking for people. There's a guy who was at British Council but left. He was called Mutuko Nguli. So I approached Mutuko. I told him, I have this idea. This is what I'm working on. Can you help me? He said, yes, let's start working. So we started working on it. I went to now Professor Mugubi from KU. Again, we formed a small board. I registered it as a trust with these people. And then we started working on it.
Right.
But due to resources, this is 2014 is when we registered. We kept on postponing.
Right. Because
of resources.
Because of course it's very expensive.
Yes, it's expensive. We kept postponing. Now it got to a time in 2016, we have announced a 6-day festival. We have a team that is coming in from Ethiopia. Because we've approached the Ethiopian embassy, they have agreed to bring in a team and we are providing accommodation. And all this has been done.
Yes.
Yet we don't have resources. One of the people we were working with told me, postpone. No, I said no. I've postponed it long enough.
Right.
Let the rubber hit the road.
Right.
However it is. So we ended up having a 2-day festival with this team from Ethiopia performing. And then we had a class dance from KU. And then we had Braiban Theatre coming in. They performed some of their works that they were performing in the classes.
Right.
So we had a 2-day festival. This is the first time I meet Ogutu Muraya.
Right.
So he also performed during the festival in the first edition. And then now these people, they've come to Kenya for 6 days, but we only have a 2-day festival. So we have to look for activities to keep them busy for 6 days.
Right.
So it was an interesting experience.
Yes.
Going to meetings, arranging meetings with Ogutu. Luckily, Ogutu is trying to work on a piece on Bekele, Kenenisa Bekele.
Right.
So it works. We link them. We take them to university. They meet students. And yes, that's how we survived the first edition.
Excellent.
Yes.
You know, sometimes you just have to jump in.
Absolutely.
And into the river and you swim or you sink, but most of the time,
yes, you swim.
Yeah.
And I've swam and by God's grace,
yes,
the festival is where it is.
Right.
By God's grace.
Where is it now? Where is the festival now?
Now the festival has grown from a 2-day festival to last year being a whole 2-week festival. Whole 2 week. But it's been a journey. And
now it's also a festival that brings lots of people from different countries.
Yes, because
Yes.
from the time it started, we've always hosted at least one And it's only the first year that we hosted one team.
Yes.
But the second year we hosted a team from South Africa and another team from Uganda. And then we had teams from Kenya, mostly universities, because I still have this good network with universities.
Right.
And it's still the industry is yet to accept this festival. So it's still taking time to grow. So we do now a 4-day festival.
Yes.
In 2017. And then in 2018 we do a 6-day festival. And this time we're hosting close to 7 international teams.
Right.
From Sweden, from South Africa, from Egypt, from Uganda, from Colombia, from Germany. We have an interesting festival. But resources.
Yes.
I think in 2018, I only had one sponsorship.
Right.
And it catered for the venue alone.
Right.
But I have people, close to 50 people, who have come from outside the country.
Yes.
And I'm taking care of their food, accommodation, and local transport.
So how did you do that? I'm terrified that when you mentioned it, I'm just like, oh my goodness, how did you do that?
It was hectic. It was hectic. I remember towards the end of the festival, the festival started on a Tuesday.
Yes.
So I've been able to convince hotels. I have goodwill. At least the university, Kenyatta University, gave me a bus to transport people. So it's taking them from the airport, it's taking them to the hotel, to the venue and back. But I have costs that have accumulated at the hotel.
Right.
I have costs that have accumulated with service providers.
Right.
And I need to sort that. And I don't have money.
Right.
So there is this Friday, I'm told, tomorrow, we won't give your guests food from lunch, and they won't even sleep because you've not paid up.
Yes.
So you need to pay up. So I have to start looking for money. I called everyone I know who can help me.
Yes.
And zero. So I go to one of my aunt who is rich. I tell her, I need this. This is what I'm doing. I have huge expectations. She tells me no. I go to another uncle. Go meet him at Two River. They're having lunch with the family. Telling me, no, I just bought a Prado, insurance, Nini. I can't help you. But at least have some lunch. So Two Rivers, I exited Two Rivers. There's a petrol station near Two Rivers. Went, parked my car there, and I cried like a baby.
Oh my goodness.
I cried like a baby.
Oh my goodness, Kevin.
Tears all over me. And then now I relieve the entire stress.
Yes.
And then I gather courage.
Right.
I call one of my friends. He sends me 10,000. I don't know where I got 6,000. So I said, this is what I have.
Yes.
I'm going to walk into that hotel.
Yes.
I'm going to tell them this is what I have.
Yes.
And they'll give the guests food.
Yes.
The guests will stay until Monday, and they won't refuse them to check out, and they'll fly out.
Right.
And I'll get them money on Monday. I tell them I'm working on a loan.
Yes.
I should be able to pay you on Monday.
Oh my goodness.
So I gather that courage, and I say, God, go before me. So I had 16,000. So I went to the hotel. Actually, now told them I have 10,000, and give them. I told them this is all the money I have. Please sort everything. Let everything work. So the manager is good. Tells me, okay, fine.
Yeah.
It's good. We only needed you to
Something.
express and just show a
To
commitment.
show a commitment, a financial commitment to create credibility for yourself.
And that's what I did. I told her to have 10,000, and then that is in Zimmerman. I drive all the way back to the National Theatre. It's South African theme night. There are 2 plays from South Africa. I want to relieve all that stress and sit down and watch a show.
Yes.
And now when one of the South African guys are doing the tech, the guy fell from the stage and broke his arm. So just even before I get to the National Theatre, I'm called and told there's a guy who needs to go to hospital.
Oh my goodness.
So the guy comes, I go pick the guy. We rush to Guru Nanak Hospital. We spend time there. The 6,000, all
And
spent in the hospital. Yes.
It's a good thing you didn't spend it.
Yes, so the 6,000 all spent in the hospital. Luckily, the arm was not broken, was just dislocated, but he couldn't perform.
Wow.
So we again drove back to the National Theatre. We found the two teams performing, but now the other guy is doing improv.
Right.
Because the partner now cannot be able to perform.
Right.
And then we spent, and luckily somehow God made it work. It worked. The festival ended. I got a loan through my mom. I settled the hotel bills. I settled everything. And this is in November.
Right.
I had just gotten a new job
Yes.
in September.
Yes.
So that is now what I use now to settle
back.
all these bills. But for the last 5 years, that has been the process. That has been the experience.
I'm so glad we're talking about this because a lot of people don't know what it takes.
Absolutely.
To be a creative or to work in the creative industry in Kenya, in Africa.
Yes.
And so I'm really grateful for you being so honest and vulnerable and really sharing your story.
Yeah.
And it is clear that despite all these situations, you're going nowhere.
Yeah, I'm here.
You're not leaving this industry.
No, I'm not.
Thank goodness.
I'm not leaving.
And
you see,
and in fact, you have started something new.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
So you see what I said?
Yes.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
I think there's a level of strength that is too strong. But anyway, thank goodness you think that.
Yes.
Yeah?
So then when we were starting, we thought of, can we have a festival and an awards? So then due to resources and capacity,
yes,
we saw it fit not to have the two at the same time.
Right.
So let us wait until we are ready for the awards. So it is only in 2021 that we felt now we need to do the awards. We need to have something apart from independent from the festival that then is able to revamp and you see to create a vibrance.
And Kenya Theatre Awards
is what we started. We created and we looked at how can we do these awards to be credible.
Yes.
To have, you see, not just for the sake of doing the awards.
Right.
And that's how then we launched the awards in January of 2021, but then held the awards in February of 2022.
And I was there.
Yes.
And I was part of this. And one of the most interesting things for me was the credibility and the excitement you generated. I was watching it on social media when people were nominated and then people won.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think you mentioned the credibility because there have been other awards and very often they're not that credible.
Yes.
And so this was really exciting.
Yes. Yeah. So those are the gaps that we were trying to ensure that we ensure that we run away from those gaps, to ensure we have to ensure we have a jury that watches performances.
Watches the performances, yes.
Before getting into the process of nomination.
Right.
So, and that's what we did the whole of it. It is hectic.
Yes.
It is tiresome.
Right.
Because these people have to watch, you have to talk to producers. Each and every weekend there is a show.
Yes.
You have to tell them to give you complimentary tickets for this jury to go and watch because you're not able to pay for all the tickets for these jury members.
Right.
And then also trying to convince people that we're doing something,
Right.
And whatever we're doing is credible and you're just starting. So a lot of challenges, but in those challenges lies huge opportunities.
Absolutely.
Huge opportunities.
Absolutely.
Because as you said, the amount of vibrancy and the amount of attention and the amount of interest that the awards generated were enormous.
Right.
And we've seen even in this year now, people and even the quality of productions has gone up.
Right.
You're now starting to see people pay attention to set design, pay attention to lighting, pay attention to sound. Courtesy, I think, also the awards had some small catalyst.
That is such an interesting thing that you're bringing up, that an award isn't just something that makes me feel good.
Yes.
It's actually setting out your awards, the Kenya Theatre Awards, is actually setting out to transform the industry. So if I haven't really paid attention to lighting, sound, etc., what your award is doing is pushing me, by giving me an award for sound, is pushing everybody and going, oh, hold on, we need to raise our game.
Absolutely.
Say a little bit more about that.
Yes. So we looked at the categories, and we looked at what are the components that make up a theatre performance, and therefore we need to ensure that we are able to recognize each and every component that makes up a theatre production.
Right.
So, and that's why we have awards like sound. We're looking at lighting. We're looking at scores for musical. We're looking at dance theatre. We're looking at puppetry theatre. We're looking at children's theatre. We're looking at all these components to ensure that people are also, the audience is able to be made notice that these are things that exist.
Yes.
You know, when you come and just watch a performance, some of these things do not make sense until you realize that a lot of lighting, a lot of time has gone into lighting, a lot of time has gone into sound, writing, you know, and being able, and we say it for writing or for playwrights, we're going to focus on original Kenyan plays.
Absolutely.
So that we also promote writers to write Kenyan stories.
Yes.
And I'm excited and I'm really even looking forward to what you guys are doing with the Nairobi musicals.
Yes.
Yeah,
the Nairobi Musical Theatre Initiative.
And we are looking forward to that, you see, because these are things that now will cultivate the industry and will ensure people produce, and will also create a theatre going culture in Kenya.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. So we're going to stop there with this conversation with Kevin Kimani Kahuro, but we're going to continue because he has so much to share with us, and I want to hear much more. Thank you, Kevin.